Welcome to the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. Are you over 40 and tired of struggling with your weight, dieting, and constantly feeling like you're starting over with nutrition and fitness? Do you wish you had more energy? Do you want to lose weight and finally keep it off for good? I'm Lil, a certified nutrition coach and former registered nurse. I too have been there, and at the age of 44, I decided I was done with fad diets and chasing a lower number on the scale. I was so tired of constantly starting over and wondering why I couldn't get lasting results. I became a nutrition coach and created the Feel Your Best formula for women who want to build muscle, lose fat, and keep it off for good. If you're ready to build a better relationship with food, the scale, and your body, let's build your formula for feeling your best. If you're new here, make sure to check the episode details for the link to my newbie starter guide. You'll receive an email straight to your inbox with everything you need to start building your Feel Your Best formula. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hey guys, welcome. So let's fix my microphone here. Welcome to episode 7 of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. This is Lil, and Happy New Year. I'm so glad you're here. This is the Feel Your Best Formula podcast, and that's what we're all about. So I'm so glad you're kicking off the new year by listening to this, because I'm guessing that that's kind of what's on your mind. How are you going to feel your best in 2023? So before we get started, I'm really excited about today's topic, but if you could just take a moment to subscribe, leave me a review, I would really, really appreciate it. Maybe share this episode with a friend after you listen, because I think it's going to be really valuable for you. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Well, I'm guessing that you have some plans, goals, resolutions in mind for 2023. And today we're going to talk about the best tools for getting organized and making living healthy easy for you. At the end of the day, it always comes back to execution and consistency. When we are thinking of healthy habits, you're going to get those results by repeating a lot of the same actions over and over, but you have to be consistent at it. So the tools we're talking about today are the tools that I use to plan and follow through on my own healthy habits. And I do use a variety of written and digital methods. So I'm going to share with you the exact 4 tools that I use. Now, probably copying exactly what I do, probably won't work for you, but what you can do is listen to what I share here, and you can pull out the pieces that really speak to you, that you're like, oh gosh, I really want to try that. And let me start by saying, I do not consider myself to be a naturally organized person. I was never organized as a kid, even in college. I was just someone that was kind of winging it. The only time I was really organized was when I was at work. And in my personal life, I really didn't have a planner or anything like that. So it's been definitely a journey for me, and I've tried a lot of things. I found a lot of things that don't work for me, but I'm a mom of 2 teen boys. I run my own business. My husband works long hours. I'm the CEO of our household for sure. I'm the headquarters for everything that goes on in our family, and I am constantly juggling all of the, activities that need to be scheduled, the carpooling, all of those things. And if I did not have these tools, I would be completely lost. So as someone who has goals, I have some really big goals for my business. Obviously, our kids, they're teenagers. My oldest is going to be heading towards college in another year and a half, which is so crazy. We have a lot that we're working towards. So these tools are what I use so that I can make sure I'm doing my part in staying on track and focused on where I want to go as an individual and where we want to go as a family and how I can support that. So I use 4 tools, and these are the only tools I use. I don't use anything else. So I'm laying it all out there for you, but we're going to start with the first thing I use, which most likely you already use or you at least know about, but Google Calendar. I love my Google Calendar. It is a digital calendar and I use it for both personal and business. It's like the headquarters for every single thing that is happening in my life. Now, there's so many useful ways that you can use it, and I actually use it in a way where I create separate calendars that all live in one space and everyone gets their different color. I import calendars from my kids' sports activities, their club activities. Most activities that kids do these days, you can actually import the calendar straight from whatever, the activity is, and it automatically goes straight to your account and you don't have to worry about making changes. It all just automatically goes there. So I absolutely love the ability of a digital calendar to do that. I schedule all of my business meetings. I make sure that I schedule in my business hours, which means time during my day, because I do work from home, that I am working. So I'm making sure that I'm not scheduling any errands or chores or appointments during that time, because I have to manage my time effectively so that I can run my business. I also use it to schedule my morning routine, my evening routine, my weekly reset routine, making sure that I'm setting aside times for those things because they are so important in me staying on track. And my meal planning. Each kid, like I said, has his own calendar. I calendar in their household and family appointments, events, things like that. And I also use it for reminders. I literally put in my calendar, if I have to go pick a kid up, if it's going to take me 15 minutes to get there, I have a reminder that pops up and goes straight to my Apple Watch telling me it's, time to get in the car and go get them, because sometimes I get caught up in some tasks. And there has been times in the past before I use the system where left a kid at school, things like that. So I have no shame. I do not depend on my brain. I depend on my tools to help keep me on track. Now, in addition to Google Calendar, I also use Google Tasks, which I must say have improved tremendously. I had tried to use it in the past, didn't like it, moved on to a different system, and now I'm back to Google Tasks, and it is awesome. Unlike my calendar where I mix business and personal tasks, I only use Google Tasks for personal items. I keep a master list of long-term reminders like getting our cars registered, oil changes, signing the kids up for, their different sporting events, etc. I schedule those ahead of time as soon as I know the sign-up date. When my son needs to sign up for spring track, I know that I'm going to plug it in there and then make sure I go on the school website and get him signed up and get it, off my plate. I also use separate lists for my household chores. I've really been enjoying, you guys, if you have not checked out the Organized Mum, MUM, she's out of the UK and she has a really cool household cleaning system. So I just plugged our cleaning system into my Google Tasks. They pop up there every day. I don't have to think about it. I know exactly what cleaning tasks I'm doing. And it's just so easy. I schedule my morning routine in my Google Calendar, but the actual checklist lives in my Google Tasks. So my checklist for my morning routine, my evening routine, my weekly reset routine, I don't have to think about it. In the morning when I'm tired, maybe a little bit grumpy, I never have to think of, okay, I just fed the dog, what's next? I know I fed the dog, time to make lunches, time to put away the dishes. And using a checklist, you may think it's overkill, but the best part is it decreases the energy that you have to use constantly trying to remember things. A checklist may seem super ultra organized and type A, but at the end of the day, I'm lazy, and using a checklist helps me be lazy because there's less things that I have to rely on my brain for. So I use it for all those routines, and even though they're repetitive and I do pretty much the same thing every day, it really keeps me on track with it and just makes it easier and things streamline so much easier. Any odds and ends for tasks that pop up, you can just throw it in there. You can schedule them, or you can just generally have them on a list to be scheduled later. It's a really great place where if you're out and about and you think of something you have to do, you just plug it in there, and later on you can go back in and put in the details. The other thing about Google Tasks and Google Calendar that's new, that is really cool, is they have widgets where it actually just automatically populates to the front of your smartphone that, okay, here's your calendar, here's the next 2 to 3 hours worth of things on your calendar. And then you can also choose which list from your Google Tasks that you want to have appear right on the front of your phone. And it's so cool because you can just see like, go to the post office, or, pick up dry cleaning. That can live right on the front of your phone and just be front and center and have your attention. And it's just really great. So that is a newer feature, and I hopped on board with that as soon as I saw it, and I'm absolutely loving it. Okay, so let's move on to our final digital system, and that is Trello. I cannot say enough about Trello. It keeps me organized not only on a weekly basis with my business, but I also use it as a digital filing cabinet for personal items. I don't use it quite as much for personal as I do for business. My entire online business lives in my Trello, but for personal things, it is so great for bigger picture items. Some things that you can use it for are travel and packing lists, where that every time you travel, maybe on a warmer vacation, these are the items that you want to bring, and you just check them off, and that checklist just lives on there. Super helpful. Also, you can create a file for, each child. I know my older son that we're getting ready for college. I just throw any information that we get, any important links, any documents, anything that we need. I have a whole file there for his college admissions process and things that we need to do. And it's so helpful to me to just know exactly where it is and be able to access it on my computer or on my phone at any time. I used Trello to organize my entire home renovation last year in 2021. We completely gutted down to the studs our lake house and built it up. And that was a very complex project. And I was basically the project manager for that. And everything I did for that project went into my Trello board, keeping track of, all the different phone numbers, choosing all of the different fixtures and everything. It was this huge, massive project, and it was so easy to just keep everything right in that Trello board and be able to access it. And it was actually during that project that I really fell in love with the system and just realized I really needed to be using it in other aspects of my life. If you use my 15-minute meal planner, then you know that I use Trello for the digital version of it, and it is perfect for meal planning. I'm always plugging in new recipes, moving things around. The flexibility and the ability to just drop information, whether it's a photo, a link, what have you, is just so great. I use it to plan my holiday meals. When things shifted quickly this past Thanksgiving, I was easily able to just send my sister-in-law screenshots of what I had so she could know what everyone is bringing. And it was just really, really great. So I can't say enough about Trello. It's like anything else. There's a learning curve, learning how to use it. But once you learn how to use it, you're just going to see that the possibilities are endless. And it is a free system. You just go to Trello.com and create a free account and just play around with it. And there's tons of templates to help you get started. You'll probably just Google like household task template or something like that, and a whole bunch would come up. Okay, that is it for the digital versions, but let's move on and talk about what I use as far as an actual planner, a pen and paper planner. So I have gone back and forth with this particular planner, and I've just decided after trying so many different systems that this is my ride or die planner. I love it. You can organize everything in it. And I think, again, being a mom, working from home, running my own business, I have to intermesh all of these pieces of my life. I cannot completely separate everything. And my planner is really focused on business, but at the same time, I do use it for the personal, like if I have something really important that's going on each day, I have to have the personal tasks in there too. So the primary focus when I create my goals for the week Those are 90% of the time business goals, but there might be something else on there that, something to do with my son's college admissions where I have to make sure I get it done that week. So I will make sure I put it in there. So it doesn't have the mundane tasks like, my cleaning routines or anything like that. It has those more special, larger project, personal things that need to get done. And the vast majority of what is in there is my business tasks, goals, everything that I'm working towards in my business. What I love about the Full Focus Planner, there's two things, is the goal, the habit tracking part where you set a goal and then you track your habits to accomplish the goal. I think that's a really wonderful part of the system. It also helps you to form your morning routine, all these different routines through your day. It can be really helpful for that. But the most important piece of this planner, and I'm telling you right now, no matter what planner you bought for 2023, if it does not have this in it, then you need to find a way to do it, either throw out that planner, buy a different planner, or you need to find a way to create the system in your life. But the Full Focus Planner is what taught me the power of a weekly review. So that means every Friday I sit down, I look at what my goals were for the week. I look at what I accomplished. I look at what went well. I look to see what I need to move to the next week. I look to see maybe some areas of improvement. I also look to see did I try some new way of doing things and did it work? Did it not? And I think that right there is so important when you're looking back and you're like, wow, it really did not work for me to try. And I was trying to do my workout at 5 a.m. when school started this year. And it was because I was doing the weekly review. I was like, this is just not working for me. I need to just realize that I cannot do my workout at 5 a.m. anymore. And I need to move that workout time. So a weekly review, I personally feel, is essential in staying on top of what really matters and making sure that you're staying focused and working towards those goals consistently. The Full Focus Planner is incredible. I highly encourage you to check it out. It's a little bit different in that it's actually a quarterly planner. It's not an annual planner. And I really decided this past year that I'm not going to do annual goals anymore. I actually am only going to live by quarterly goals, which I think most people tell you to plan 12 months ahead. But I just feel like everything I've learned over the past year and a half about life and how things can change. And sometimes when you're working towards something, you realize that you actually don't want to work towards that and you want to change direction. And only setting quarterly goals has really allowed me that flexibility. It doesn't mean I don't have long-term goals. It doesn't mean that a year from now I don't want certain things to be a certain way in my life, but I feel like it's much more actionable and attainable for me to be creating quarterly goals right now. So that's what I'm doing. And hey, I can always change it. So that's it. Those are the 4 tools. They've changed my life. I absolutely love using each and every one of them. I'm always looking for new ways to make them better, but I literally schedule my entire day the night before. I go into my Google Calendar and I block out every minute of my day so that I have a general idea of how I'm going to be spending my time the next day. And that means I don't wake up in the morning wondering, what do I need to do? How am I going to get things done? I don't feel as stressed, even if I have a big project or something that, is a little bit stressful, I feel good about it because I've scheduled that into my life. Of course, life throws us curveballs. We get sick kids, things happen. I mean, again, I'm sitting here with my broken ankle that I certainly did not schedule into my life, but already having these systems in place has made it so much easier to work around, when things aren't going our way. So let me review. That is Google Calendar, Google Tasks, Trello, which most likely, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but I encourage you to go check it out and see if that's something that you might find helpful. And the Full Focus Planner. That is my favorite planner. That's the one that I'm sticking with. So I hope you find this information useful. I would love to hear from you. What planners do you like? Are there any apps out there? I'm always looking to try new things. So if you have a great task management system that you're using or different tips for staying on track, go ahead and send me an email, lil@liliuslewis.com. I would love to do an episode where I'm just sharing your tips, like how do you get your workout in? How do you stay motivated? I would love to share those ideas with other people because, you don't want to hear from me all the time. I think it's great to hear how other people are solving the problems in their lives and creating healthy habits on their time. So, okay, this was episode 7. Thank you so much for listening. Happy New Year. Don't forget to subscribe, review, share this podcast with others, and I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to check the episode details for my new listener starter guide, and any additional resources mentioned in the episode can also be found in the show notes on my website. You can always find me on Instagram @macroswithlil, and for more healthy lifestyle tips, recipes, and information on my one-to-one and group coaching services, make sure to check out my website. All the links can be found below. If you know someone else who is ready to start building their formula for feeling their best, please share the love and send them a link to the podcast. I hope you found today's episode helpful, and I'll see you back here next week for a brand new one.